Hello, it's Myers Team Trucking here, and back with another video, part 2 of my review of Swift, my 1-year review. And this one won't be quite as long as the last video, I don't think. Today's topic is Hometime, which is perfect because we're actually going home in a couple days. So, just to the nitty-gritty, Swift offers for company drivers 1 day home for every 6 days out for the over-the-road fleet. And of course, if you're a lease driver, I mean, you can go home whenever you want, but that payment is still due every week. So your wallet really determines when you can go home and how much time you can spend at home when you're a lease driver. So how has that worked out in real life? I've actually found them to be pretty generous with their home time. We've had a lot of situations come up where we needed extra time at home, whether it be medical things or whatnot, and they've always been good to grant us the time that we needed. Of course, there's been times when we've been a little bit slow getting out of the gate, and they've been kind of like, "What are you guys still doing here at home?" But we just explain what's going on, and they understand. I think as long as you communicate with them and communicate with the planners so that they know when to line up a load for you and stay generally within that day off per 6 days out, then you're pretty good. Now, the process of requesting home time is pretty simple. You just go to your Zonar and put in your macro for that. You put in your zip code for where you want to park the truck, not necessarily where your home is, but where you want to park the truck, and they will work with you on that. We try to give them 2 or 3 weeks notice. Now, as far as my wife and I, we like to go out for 3 to 6 weeks at a time, usually closer to the 5 to 6 week mark. However, this summer, I'm having some dental work done and some other things going on this summer, so really we've been going out for 3 weeks, then home for a few days to take care of those things. Now, as far as their ability to get you home on time, that's an issue that really is a problem with the entire industry. You hear complaints about not getting home on time from multiple drivers from multiple companies, and I would say with Swift, we're probably home on the day we requested about 50 or 75% of the time. It's been pretty good for the most part. As far as them getting us home, they even got us home a day early once, so I guess it goes both ways. The exception was this time around. We've had kind of a frustrating couple of days here. Frustrating 24 hours anyways. I have a doctor's appointment that was originally scheduled for tomorrow, and thankfully I've been able to reschedule it for Friday. I should be home, Thursday, which we should be home Thursday morning now. They had, several days ago, we had a load lined up going from California all the way over to Jacksonville, Florida. That would have been perfect. It would have gotten us home in time. But evidently we didn't see the request. I don't know, how we missed it, but we didn't respond in time, and they gave the load to someone else. So, technically that's on us. I understand that. I called the planners after I noticed they took away the load, and they said, well, we already gave it to someone else, but, maybe we'll have another load for you like that tomorrow. So we parked, and next day I called. Actually, no, the next day they put a load on us going to Illinois. I don't know if it was the Chicago area. I can't remember exactly where it was going. And it's going the right direction, but it's not really south. And I think a lot of our freight from that area goes back out west. So I called the planners back up and say, hey, they said they were going to get us another load to Florida after this. Well, of course, there was no load available to Florida. She said, however, we can get you a load to the Phoenix, Arizona terminal, and then from there over to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then we'll find you a load going towards home. So Swift tends to have a lot of freight down in that area, so I said, sure, let's go ahead and do that. And everything went smooth up until last night. My wife delivered the load going to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I can't remember the name of the exact town, but it doesn't matter. She had another load lined up that was supposed to go to Decatur, Georgia, a T-call load there, which is only maybe 6 or 8 hours from her home. And a lot of times they will route us through Decatur to get us home. Well, she went to the shipper, which is also in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they said the load's not ready. We're missing some of the pieces that were supposed to come from Canada and Mexico. And if any of you have been following the issues this year with freight lines, there's definitely been a disruption in the industry as far as freight shipping goes. So not that much of a surprise, but still kind of frustrating. I don't know exactly what time she was there, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. So we put in a message to our planners saying, hey, the load's not ready. What next? So anyways, it is now 6:30 Eastern time. So, maybe 14 hours later or so, they finally took that load off of us and had given us a load from Decatur down to Ocala, which is pretty cool. We're actually going to be delivering where we park, right near where we parked the truck. However, they were spending the entire day trying to line up a load for us to get to Decatur in the first place, which is where we're picking up the Decatur to Ocala, Florida load. And I was starting to freak out a little bit. I thought they were just going to make us sit here, another day or so, and there's plenty of stories out there of people getting stranded like that, even here in Texas. But they just gave us the okay to deadhead empty all the way to Decatur, Georgia, which is 800 miles. So that's pretty wild. We're being deadheaded 800 miles for a 350 or 360 mile load. So that is one thing I will say that I absolutely am impressed with Swift, is that even if they can't get you home on the exact day you requested, they are working on it, and they're working out a solution. And sometimes that solution includes letting you drive a pretty long distance. Typically, once they get us to Decatur, usually they find us a load to Jacksonville or somewhere along the coast, or sometimes Orlando, and then they let us deadhead home from there. So I think that's about it. I would say they're probably average to slightly above average as far as their home time goes, as far as getting you home on time and how much time off they give you. Maybe even above average. I don't know. I guess I haven't worked for enough companies to know. So, and with us living in Florida, that's a tough market. They don't have a lot of freight that goes into or out of Florida. So we have had issues with that in the past. I actually missed a doctor's appointment several months ago because we were stuck in Decatur and they couldn't get us a load into Florida. And I was really frustrated because it was like, well, if I had my own truck, I think I would have just spent the $100 in fuel or whatever it would have been to drive home. It would have been worth it at that point in time. But eventually they resolved that issue too. But it has been a little bit frustrating not always being able to get home on the day you request. And I've missed a couple of important appointments because of that, or at least had to reschedule them. We had another story, which I think I featured on the channel already, where we got stuck in Decatur, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, and they got us a load home, but it delivered on the same date as my doctor's appointment. In fact, it was at the same time as my doctor's appointment. Physically, we got home the day before it was due, and parked the truck overnight. And when we accepted the load, we said that's fine, but we need to T-call the load, or in other words, drop it off at the terminal in Ocala and let someone else deliver it. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, we'll figure it out. Well, they didn't figure it out. So when we got to Ocala, we told them, okay, we're here to T-call load. And they're like, well, there's no T-call set up for it, and we don't have any drivers to deliver it tomorrow. Like, well, you guys have to figure it out. I got a doctor's appointment. Well, then they started, with the whole, this is bordering on the lines of load abandonment and all this crap. And I said, fine, I'll deliver the load, but I'm still going to my doctor's appointment. I'll deliver it late, but I'm not going to miss my doctor's appointment. So finally what they said to do is go ahead and send in a running late macro. And so that's what I did, and then the load got scheduled the next day. So kind of sucked having to go do a delivery on, in the middle of my time off. However, they did give me an extra day off at the end of it to kind of compensate for that. So just little things like that. It's been a mixture of good and a mixture of bad as far as the Hometime thing goes. But overall, I'd say they're average to above average, compared to at least what I've read online and talked to other drivers. So I haven't. I drove for Warner a long time ago, but I don't really count that experience towards these videos. So, anyways, if you like my videos, please subscribe and hit the notification button. Give me a thumbs up, and that will help my channel be found by others that would like to see this content. And I have a couple more video ideas as far as my review of Swift after working for them for 1 year. Thank you. Drive safe.